Hi, I'm Alex. I'm one of the co-organizers of Queer Spectra Arts Festival. And before I was invited to be a co-organizer, I was the inaugural keynote speaker in 2019 for the festival. And so I'm really honored and excited to introduce you today to this year's keynote speaker, Timothy White Eagle. I'm going to move my eyes this way a bit to read you Timothy's bio. Timothy White Eagle is a mixed-race artist. His art practice rises from a decades-long exploration of traditional ritual and embodiment practice. He crafts experiences and objects designed to heal both creator and audience. His preferred mediums include objects, photography, performance, and installed space. His work has been presented on 3 continents. Timothy White Eagle was the recipient of the WAA/AIP Launchpad Award in 2019, as well as a Seattle City Artist in 2020. He received a BFA in theater from the University of Utah. Timothy tours as an artistic director and performer with the MacArthur Genius Taylor Mac on his Pulitzer Prize finalist show, A 24-Decade History. He's currently an artist in residence with La Mama Experimental Theater Club in New York City. Timothy's keynote speech is incredible. It is an absolute gem. I'm so excited for you all to watch it. It's hilarious, inspiring, thought-provoking, and heartwarming. And it references his time at the University of Utah in Salt Lake City, where the Queer Spectra Arts Festival is based. It really changed my day, and I have a feeling that it will do the same for many of you. So stay tuned and enjoy.
Hi, everybody. I am Timothy White Eagle, and I'm here to deliver your keynote address. And I have 2 favorite spots in all of Utah. And the first one is the lower bathroom at the Babcock Theater. And when I was a student at the University of Utah, I spent many hours pondering the mysteries of the universe from this dank, dark cellar bathroom. And now, all these years later, I came back to find everything is pretty much the same. People are still waiting for Godot. People are still reviving dead French comedies. And I want to take you to my other favorite spot in Utah, to Bryce Canyon. And so, without further ado, through the magic of the Zoom and the internets and all those things that people younger than me understand better than I do, we go live via satellite to Bryce Canyon. Away we go. Hi, I'm Timothy White Eagle. And I know you're all watching from different locations, but I invite you to take a breath in with me and to feel that exact spot in the world wherever it is that you are. And I want to talk about divinity and about what is sacred in being queer. A long time ago, indigenous cultures around the world had something that was very different than modern organized religion has. And that is a firm belief that was outside of a binary system. There was no good, there was no evil, and that there was nothing in particular about an individual that was evil. There was an acceptance of things as parts of nature. Indigenous cultures in North America recognized folks who were between gender roles and gender expressions as something very unique and very sacred. And those people were often given special roles within the tribal organizations. And this varied some from group to group, but universally there was a acknowledgement of the special nature of people who stood between genders and gender roles. And that unique thing was that because they were not polarized in solely masculine energy or solely feminine energy, that they stood at a unique crossroads between those two things. And it was that perspective, being outside of the dominant culture, that gave them a unique way of looking at the more dominant culture. Often these individuals were called upon to help grow new rituals, to help the larger culture understand what was going on. And those folks in between were often called upon to create the new. I bring all this up because I want to talk about the divinity that flows through each and every one of us. And I know there's when you start using words like divinity or spirituality, it's loaded, especially for folks who have been dominated or ostracized or victimized by organized religions. And I was one of those people. I went to University of Utah. I graduated in 1990. Before that, I went to Ricks College in Rexburg, Idaho. And I went through reparative therapy where they taught me how to be straight. Didn't work so well, but that was part of my education, was to be involved in that experience of being told that what I was essentially evil and had to change if I wanted salvation. And so part of my path has been to re-understand that, to find the truth of who I am, despite the dogmatic education I was given. And so it took me a long time to reconnect to the divinity that's inside myself and to understand the connections that I see between the creative impulse and divinity. The act and desire to create is a spark that comes from divinity, from spirit, from the other side, I believe. The muse, some people are more comfortable with that language. The idea of the muse, or as a spirit who appears to us and inspires us. But that particular action, that desire to create, for me and my belief system, is that is intertwined with the divinity that's within me. And so when I create, I like to recognize and to call to that piece of divinity. In the language I use most often, I say to all that is, to great mystery, to everything. And for me, that language is about saying, I don't know what the answers are. I don't know what the truth is, but I'm recognizing that there is something there that wants to come through me, and that something is coming from outside of myself. And I invite it to come in through me, through my hands, through my voice, through my performance, and to express itself. And so that's what I wanted to offer. I wanted to recognize the unique and powerful thing it is to be queer, to be between, to be the other. Gives us such a unique perspective on society. Joseph Campbell talked a lot about the need for the artists to come forward and to create the new mythologies that would help the people of today understand the world. And we are at such a unique crossroads, and we need, more than anything else, understanding of how to move forward. We need visions of our future. We need visions of how to correct where we stand now. And that's our power as artists, to dream and envision a new and better world, to dream and envision a new and better self, to do our personal healing work while we are exploring the healing work of healing our community and supporting our community as it sets forward to heal the planet. I'm honored to be here, even virtually. I am in Utah at the moment at Bryce Canyon, one of my absolute favorite spots on earth. And in the old way, they used to sing to the rocks. The old way. They would say thank you to every single thing in the world. Everything, not just the food we ate, not just the trees, but to every single thing, even to something which is as seemingly inanimate as a rock. They recognized the spirit in all things, and they said thank you on a regular basis. And one of my elders, who's Paiute, for whom this canyon is sacred, said that he knew a family that knew all the really old rock songs when he was young, and that they would come here and sing, and that these rocks would actually make a noise back, a kind of vibration back. And it is that idea of being in the world in a different way, that there are things that we can't quite see, mysteries that we don't know. They're right there. And so our elders used to say thank you. And I often say thank you when I do my work. And you don't have to say thank you, but I wanted to offer that as a piece of the way I work, is to say thank you to all of the things, to say to all that is, I give thanks. So, Spectra, thank you for having me. And there is going to be a postscript to this video. So I encourage you to stay tuned for, let's call it the after party for this video. Thank you very much. And Utah's been really good to me this week. I've had an amazing trip down in southern Utah, and I'm really happy to be back here. It's been a long time since I was here. I looked at my old apartment in Salt Lake a couple days ago, not far from the university. I lived on 8th and 2nd in an old Victorian, and then I lived on 1st and 3rd, I think it was, or 1,300, those numbers. Anyway, it was great fun to be running around Salt Lake again, and it was even more fun to be down here in Bryce Canyon. So thank you all, and watch the postscript. You'll be glad you did. Thank you. Here's a secret I wanted to share with queer artists. Something that it took me a long time to fully understand and integrate into my practice of making art. Come in a little closer. Lend me your ear. There's magic when we have sex. For real. It's old Indian medicine. They don't talk about it much in public, but it's true. That creative force, that desire to create, is related to that desire to copulate. That unique union of vulnerability and passion and ecstasy, all of that medicine, all ingredients in a spark for creativity, for creation, for the existence of medicine. And I want you to know something that is at the heart of my practice, which is that sex is prayer. The ability to maintain intimate connection, that is a form of prayer. And from that place of prayer, that place of sex, that place of raw, and that place of heartfelt, oh. And best of all, when all of those things come together, that is a real and sincere place to pray from. A real and sincere place to make art from. The old world is on fire. And it's time for the queer to step into their power. And one of the unique powers that queer folks have always held is the power to touch creation through copulation. I know. Nobody has probably ever talked to you about this before. It took me a long time digging through a lot of stuff to figure this out. But it is true. It is sincere. And it is old medicine. There is power when we fuck. When we come together and sow seeds, that is the place to draw from for our creativity, for our images, for our inspirations. Right in there. I know, I'm blowing your mind. Believe me. I know I'm blowing your mind. I'm in the Babcock Theater. A minute ago I was on Bryce Canyon. Now I'm here. So I'll just tell you sincerely. When you touch each other, when you hold each other, when you hold each other as community of queer creators, and when you hold each other as queer lovers, it is those connections, those filaments, when they come together, something so unique and vibrant and alive happens. And from that place, our community of queer creators will find the visions of the new world, of a world bound and set in equity, in fairness, in evolution, in forward progress, in momentum. There's a lot of me that a lot of people tried to tell me was shadow. And a lot of my college years and my early years in Utah were spent wrestling with demons that didn't really exist. Who I am in all my queerness and all my sexuality is a form of divinity. And through my voice and my hands, I create visions for the new world. And I invite you to do the same thing, to be playful and outrageous and rebellious, to be fearless, to step into the light and say, I'm a queer artist and I have something to say. And what I have to say comes in part from my very action as a queer person. I invite you to rebel. I invite you to light fires. Aho.